What's up, Andy? I would do a little jingle, but that needs to be post-produced from now on. And my agent said I can't be putting out free music anymore.
What are you,
So,
MC Hammer?
well, like what year are we in? 1991? Jesus, dude, let's not talk about your high school years. MC Hammer, let's get a little bit more,
You
2020.
prefer NSYNC?
Maybe, yeah, yeah. Bye, bye, bye. I don't even know if that's in sync, but sounds good. No, dude, we're here another session to share the knowledge, right? It's a grassroots conversation that we love to kind of talk through. So today's topic, Andy and I were rapping via text earlier today, and we're like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And he's like, let's just keep it as simple as possible and touch on what do you do once you get a data file, a database from the share group. And I was like, well, what do you mean, dude? Like, it seems pretty self-explanatory, but it's not, because I think that's the variable that comes into play more than any is what's the implementation
Yep.
once you get the database. So Andy, yeah, let's touch through that, man. So what do you suggest? Let's say you have a new client that has a new list from the share group, let's say some absentee owners, and what do how do you get them organized to utilize the data to have the highest ROI?
Yeah, so let's do because my new favorite, dude. Let's go with my new favorite, just because I think my
Okay.
new favorite is the move down list.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My new favorite, like absentee owners, I was riding that high and fast for like 3.5 years. But
The
the move downs, I think are
downsizer. So the elderly people having to downsize,
I
right?
think, yeah. I mean, I think that is with what we've seen inside of our data, we've seen that be one of the more successful lists of recent, meaning the last like 60 to 90 days. It's been a hugely successful list.
That is so awesome.
That being said, too many, dude, and this is honestly what I see the most happen is that they will order the data and they just simply sit there with it and almost second guess it, right? So they'll sit there with this pile of high quality data. We're literally, we had a client last week. They're like, I'm just so scared to make calls. They made the calls themselves because they've never done it.
Mhm.
15 calls in, they set 2 listing appointments.
That's what's up. I love it.
So I'll put it this way, man. I don't care what they do. In fact, inside of your text and my text, I said, listen, I don't care if they send up smoke signals for all I care. Like that's do something
Yeah,
because just with the data, you're gonna get something. So
totally.
I think the tried and true method, as you know, is the phone call,
Right.
right? The second tried and true method, and what you guys I think have also seen success with, is the direct mail piece.
Yep.
So
Yep.
whether it's yellow letters or whatever else, but I will say this, right? Like if people are looking to keep it no cost, low cost, the calls are the way to go.
Yeah.
The cost inside of a yellow letter or any sort of postcard, they've gone up because of postal rates going up.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to pay for the paper and you got to pay for the stamp, right?
Absolutely.
Even the every door direct mail doesn't
Right.
targeted as you want with a segmented list. You're still paying a decent amount of money for postage. So yeah, like there's applications to utilize the data, but what's the budget and what's the effort, right? So
Absolutely. So then the other piece of it too, and I think that a lot of folks miss this aspect with the data that you guys provide, right? So because of how you guys provide the data, we're also seeing, again, right around 60% of the people that come through have emails.
mhm.
So if that's the case, there's nothing stopping people from doing cold email campaigns. Now there's ways to do it,
Yeah.
but don't just sit on the data.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. We had a client recently that bought a list and was sending out, the emails, like, as a point of communication. But email becomes a complicated story just because you need to make sure, like you said it, you have to have the right setup. So you have to have the right sending domain. You don't want to use your main email address. You want to make sure the IP address you're sending from is built to send out emails. And so there's a lot of variables that can come into play that can affect the email marketing, but that's a whole nother topic. But email works, text works.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a guy, my boy, I'm going to shout out Blake Wallace in Minnesota. The dude door knocks. I mean,
Yes.
even to the point where you're controlling your communication. How do you take that next step once you get the list? You implement a plan of attack. And one thing we didn't touch on yet, to me, the most success from this is with a multiple touch campaign. So make a phone call, maybe send a letter. Or if you're going to send an email, the ones that are open in the email, whatever technology you use, or the ones that are clicking on the email, that's who you give a phone call to, or that's who you send a direct mail message to. So be smart with the data, but at the end of the day, use the data to your advantage. So, there's people like Andy, who's sitting over here, the very good looking young man, and people like me that's way better looking than Andy that can guide you guys. Once you have the data, I do know our team internally does have these conversations of like, hey, where are you at from your experience with marketing and utilizing data? Are you a brand new agent? Is this, first time thing for you? Then let's talk through this. But if you've been doing this before and utilizing these types of services, then here's what you can expect, and here's how we can take it to the next level. So there is something to be said of like, don't be afraid to ask a really easy question once you secure the data. Because there's an answer right around the corner that can ultimately help you get that return on your investment.
Yeah. And candidly, dude, again, agents, I think in general, or anyone who's ordering the data, just needs to stop second guessing it and simply get into action, whatever the action is.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that they want to do inside of approaching these folks, sitting with the data, the longer it sits, the more stale it gets. So, even a few days, like as soon as you get it, run with it and make something happen. You guys will be astonished with the results.
And you know what? We hear more than not too. Like when we do call every one of our clients after 60 days to get feedback. And sometimes you'll hear is like, man, I only wish I would have gotten on it quicker. I only wish I would have called it sooner, because I did talk to, old, Mrs. Ethel Smith, and she downsized, a month and a half ago. So there are, a lot to the recency and the urgency of making those phone calls, because if you do get through that list, you will have listings, you will have a return on your investment, and then you will be buying another Zip or Andy's ISA service to grow your power team. But
so I'll go the bonus route too, dude, before we get off on this thing. The one thing that we keep teasing, we do need to go a little bit further into this as we move, but the social media ads, I think, is again another way that you guys can leverage, or agents can be leveraging the data that you guys provide. And there's a set way to do that, custom audience, lookalike audiences, and actually do it the right way.
Yeah.
But that's a huge missed opportunity, I think, also inside of.
All right. So yeah, next time we chat in 2 weeks, let's dig into the digital aspect of utilizing the share group data. There's a lot of right ways to do it, but there's a lot of wrong ways to do it too. So I think that you have some insight and some experience in that. So I would love to focus on that, and take this thing, baby. Let's wrap again in a couple weeks, Andy. I'm much love, brother.
Amen. As always.